Good morning, everybody. I'm Sharon Wilcox, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, coming live to you from Chesapeake, Virginia. Thank you for joining me today. I'm always so happy when I can do these Facebook Lives and visit with some of my friends, old and new, just for a little bit. So today I am using the soft seedling. And I don't have a new technique today, but maybe I do have a technique. I don't have any new fold today. No special folds, but I have a few things that I want to show you. So let's hop right down to my desktop, okay, and get started with that. So the stamp set, as I said, is the soft seedling, and this is in the um, July through December catalog. And this little stamp set just leads its way to doing two fun techniques. One is using sponge daubers on your leaf to get lots of color, and two, also the baby wipe technique, which is, I know I've shown you before, but it's always good to have a little refresher, especially with a new stamp set. I love the font that they've used in here and the words, thinking of you, so grateful for you, and just a simple hello. I love this set. I think it's so beautiful. And it's what we call a distinctive stamp set, which means the distinctive stamp, as you can see, the light and the dark here, when you stamp it with your ink, you're going to get those colors. The variation of those colors, I should say. So it makes it just super pretty. So let's get started by me showing you a few different of the different cards that I made. The first one is just very simple. Stamp, ink, and paper. I did step it up a notch by bringing in the wonderful dies to cut. And we know that I love this die set. Let me pull this out over here. This one, the Stylish Shapes. I know you've seen me use this many, many times, and I can't tell you every time I stamp I want to use this. Stylish Shapes. It just really has everything that you would need and more. Um, and I use these banner pieces so very often. So, but isn't it just beautiful at how you can take your different colors? On this one, I used daffodil and I stamped it. And then I went in with pumpkin pie and I stamped a couple of leaves. And sometimes I stamped it a second generation to get the lighter. And then the third one, I went in and I used the new color Sweet Sorbet. And that's what this is. This is the cardstock. And of course, you recognize the deckled edge from these wonderful deckled dies. Love, love, love them. So these are two of my newest favorites that I tend to be using a great deal lately. They work with uh, every single stamp and design that you do. I think the deckled will work beautifully, as well as your stylish shapes. So on the inside, I just stamped some of those leaves, and these are the three colors the leaves are on the front. They're just overlapping to resemble like a pile of leaves. And then I did use these dies or these jewels that come from the leaves. And I have to admit, I've not used the leaves yet. Um, I guess I will, but so far I've just not found a place for them. So I need to work on that because I have 2 packets of these, but I absolutely love these gems, the amber gems that come in there, and I've used them a great deal on some of my cards. You'll notice in the background here, it's not real obvious, but in the background, you can see I did use an embossing folder, and of course I used the leaf fall which is a 3D. It's a good thick folder and it really gives you some dimension. I also use that on my envelope flap, which makes this a very elegant card. When you get that in the mail, you go, oh wow, an embossed flap. That's pretty impressive. At least to me it is. Even though I know how it was done, somebody took the time to do that. And it just is gorgeous. There's nothing more fun than stamped mail or handmade cards. On the front, I did stamp one of the leaves as well. So I hope you like that. I just think it's gorgeous. The next one, and this is just basic stamping, okay? Then on this next one, you'll see that I have, let me pull my envelope out of there. I use the little whirly gig. We call them whirly gigs. I'm from Ohio. That's what I've always called them. You know, that fall off of your maple trees and plant new maple trees all over your yard. But anyways, I stamped those in the background with a beautiful pumpkin pie color. And then I stamped a few on here. This technique is using your sponge dauber on your stamp. I got a little heavy on the speckle there, but I'm okay with it. I thought I would just leave it. There are those amber gems again, and I used some gold ribbon and did a faux bow. What is a faux bow? This piece is taped down behind there, and then I just took this piece and tied a knot there. And it's a little long on this side, and that's bugging me. So let's just snip that off. There we go. On the inside, I did do the same as my envelope, which I think makes it very pretty. And this is the thinking of you. Once again, there's those wonderful dies that coordinate with everything. Do you not love the stylish shapes? I just think they're beautiful. So I'll show you this technique in just a moment. And then this one, oh, did you notice on this too that I used Wink of Stella? Can we see that? Yeah, I think we can. Wink of Stella is on there. And I'm going to retract that because the baby wipe technique and the sponge dauber technique are so similar. Sometimes I get them confused as to how I did something, but this is actually the baby wipe technique. I fooled myself. How about that? It is. This is the baby wipe technique. Okay. This one, I believe, is the same one. This one was, I think, the sponge. This one is the sponge dauber. I can tell by looking. But look at how gorgeous that is. Just such a simple card. Okay. Just doing the technique, stamping your words right on that. I did elevate this by I use some of these strips that I have of the foam. You can use your dimensionals as well. I just happen to have some foam strips that I cut and used, and then added some jewels. This time these are called champagne. And I did add a few of those. Once again, Wink of Stella is on there. And then on the inside, more of these. So it's more of a note card and an envelope to coordinate with. Okay. Then this one is another one. I actually inked it up with our ink pad and then did the sponging on this with the sponge daubers. So I will be showing you the two different techniques here in just a moment. Once again, those decals, the same thing. This card and this card, very similar, just different technique. This is basic stamping. This is sponging on your stamp. But I use the same die set, same decal, same background for the leaf fall. But you get two totally different looks because we did different styles of stamping. So you can make this look so very different in many ways. Just look at these right here together. Totally different cards. I think out of all of them, this is probably my favorite. I love clean. So not that these don't look nice and clean, but I like that white on white these days. And then the inside of this one, so grateful. Threw in some of those little helicopters. And this one, I simply just reused the same stamp. I didn't re-ink it or anything. So it's a little lighter, but I think it's still very pretty. And then this one, you remember those split dies that I used? I didn't pull them out. They're in my container behind me. But remember that? I had this one left over. So I took some of our designer series paper and put it behind there. Took two of these, and this is the baby wipe technique. And on this one, this is the first one. This I went back into it. I added Wink of Stella to everything. It just brightens things up. There you can see that Wink of Stella. Oh yeah. And stamped the little hello. And this is Granny Apple Green as well as the designer series paper behind me. And I believe this paper was from the, oh darn, I forget, but I think it was from the one that the hostess one. But any designer series paper will work behind here. You just pick what looks good to you. I almost used this from Rustic Harvest. This is like one of my favorite designs. And this came from Rustic Harvest, and I tossed between the two of them. This one may be from Rustic Harvest too, as far as that goes. But anyways, either one of those would have been gorgeous, really. So I just happened to choose the Granny Apple because I just felt like it was pretty. Once again, use those gems. And I'm telling you, with these split dies, you can't go wrong. On the inside, some little whirligigs and an envelope to coordinate with. And I wanted to show you this. I didn't do anything with it yet, but I had this piece left over, and I went ahead and I had stamped it, and then I took the other design from the split card and used that. So this is really pretty, and I'm sure I could use any color behind it. I don't have to use designer series paper, but look, just putting colored cardstock behind there. It's just gorgeous. And honestly, even just putting some words on here would be beautiful. So that's up to you. But I always save all of these extra little things just to show, just in case, you know, sometimes you get an idea and you want to try something. So that's what I do. Let's go ahead and grab the stamp. I'm sorry, I didn't get things mounted this morning. I was on puppy duty and so on because John is at the dentist, and it's been kind of a crazy morning for me. I'm going to use one of the bigger blocks. This is block E. I love this size of block. It's like a perfect fit for this nice size stamp. And I think the first thing I want to show you is using the, does that fit? We'll make it work. I was just checking to see if that was going to fit on there. It will. This little piece might hang off, but it doesn't matter. It'll still look gorgeous. So when I do this technique, I like to put a base color down, and it's always my lightest, and that just saves you a few steps. You could use Daffodil Delight, which is what I typically would use, but this morning I decided to go with Mango. I need a new Mango pad. Let I'm not sure. It just isn't of the best quality pad right now. And I do need a new one. And I do hope there's plenty of, oh yeah, yeah, there's plenty of ink on there. Well, then I'm going to take in a little bit green, and I'm using different sponges for this. So this is Old Olive, and the sponge daubers are just perfect for this. And remember, Old Olive is pretty intense, so I don't want a whole lot of green on this. I really want more of my other colors to show through. So you can see where I'm putting just a little bit of green, maybe a smidge right there. And then I'm going to bring in Sweet Sorbet. I love, love, love this new color. It's such a mix between, well, am I pink or am I red? And it depends on how you look at it. So let's go ahead and get that one inked up nice. And we're going to use a bit more of this and just go, you don't want to cover up all of your yellow, of course. You know what? I didn't change the color of those stems, and I think that I would like to do that with a bit of this green on there. Yeah, there we go. Now, I've got a ceiling fan going here, so it tends to want to dry things out, but I'm going to stamp this on here, and you'll see all of the beautiful colors that you're going to get from that. Let's see, which way do I want that on there? I think right like that. Press nice and firm, and I do tend to hold it on there just a little bit longer than I would normally, just so that it the ink kind of soaks into the cardstock. I hold the corner of my cardstock because I don't want it to be pulled up. And look at that. Beautiful fall colors. Isn't that gorgeous? And it's such a simple technique. It's really, really a simple technique. Anybody can do that. Now I do want to clean the stamp, and you can actually do this a second time to get a bit of a lighter. That's what I had done on that envelope. And let me pull an envelope out of my drawer here. Oops, sorry, shaking the camera. And let me show you what that second generation looks like before I clean it. I'm exhaling my warm breath on this too. And what that does is just rejuvenates your ink a little bit. Let's go right down here in this corner. Very pretty. Yes, it's much lighter, but that's okay. It's still a beautiful envelope. And I'll probably emboss the back too, because I just love, love, love that look. So that is using your sponge daubers on your stamp. And it just gives you lots of color. You can see my mango showing through all over, and I only had the sponge 2 colors on there. I just love it. It truly does look like a beautiful maple fall leaf to me with all the variations of color. Okay, now let's do the baby wipe technique. And I know many of you have seen this, but for those who haven't, let's just do a little refresher. I like to use my big block. You can use a smaller one. This size is good for it too. We're going to take everyday baby wipes, and we're going to, I've got ink on my fingers. Let's take this first one and clean my fingers. How about that? Because I just don't like getting ink on my cards. I take one baby wipe, and these baby wipes have a texture on it. That might not be the best thing. Can you see that texture? Yeah, we'll see how this turns out. I don't know. It may not look as pretty as you think with that texture, but I don't know. We'll see. It might actually add something to it. And find my piece of cardstock here. There we go. And I am using Old Olive again. And you want your palette big enough that your stamp, because this is a pretty good size stamp. So it depends on how big your stamp and your palette is going to be as to how much you add. I would say anywhere from 6 to 10 drops, just really depends. The next one I'm going to add is yellow. And actually I'm using mango again. And do the same thing. You want to fill all of this in. I have rejuvenated these by using a bit of water, just misting it onto it. And you can actually put it in a baggie or something, or cover it with plastic wrap, and you will get lots of, I might have taken away all of my yellow there. We'll see. Every single one that you create is different. Let's see if I put this up here. Just because of how you drop your ink. You don't want to go and move all over. You want to stay in one area. Let me pull this down a little bit better so you can see. There we go. It's okay to go move a little bit, but you don't want to move all over the place. We've got lots of ink on here. Let's go ahead and stamp. And again, let's let that ink soak in there for just a second. And left. Look at how beautiful. This time, those little speckles on the leaf are really showing through. Wow. I think this is really quite gorgeous. What do you guys think? What did I see a question over here? Did you bring the ink pad in so you could match the ink? What can I do about an over inked ink pad? I can tell you what to do. Are you talking about, I'm not sure about matching something. Did I bring the ink pad in so you could match the ink? Not quite sure what that means, Joe, but that's okay. But these are your two techniques. Let me show you what to do if you've over inked your ink pad. If you happen to have in your house a palette knife, or I use my bone folder because it doesn't bother me that they get stained. As you can see, this one is. You just wipe it off when you're done. But if you have too much ink on your ink pad, and if you do, your distinctive stamps are not going to look distinctive. Oh, to match my nail color. No, I just go through the little pieces and look at what is my favorite. And yeah, this does look like sweet sorbet. And yes, my mind does go towards Stampin' Up! Colors when I am in the nail salon. Yeah, so there you go. My toes look a little bit like a little rustic color. They're not brown, but they're really pretty. We won't go there. But anyways, okay, so if you have too much ink, just take your palette knife and you literally wipe it across here. You know what? You could even use the edge of a plastic spoon. Okay, go get a plastic spoon and you can do this. You don't have to use your bone folder. You don't have to use anything else. But can you see how it lightens? And what that does is pushes ink down, but also over here. If it's like super duper way too much and it's oozing out, I literally would take a paper towel to it to clean that off. That's just what I would do. When you are inking up your stamps, and if I can find when this one is inked up really nice, and I just inked up another one, but I haven't inked this up in a while, and I have the re-inker right here. My ink pads stay really nice and moist, but when you're inking it up, I want to show you this. You add your ink. Okay, this is a good example. It's wetter in the center, but watch this. I put this ink on. If it doesn't start to see it disappear, it disappeared right into the pad. There it goes. Boom, gone. And you just add drops of ink where it is the driest, okay? And you usually know that from when you're stamping with it. That's usually when I re-ink something, not just grab something up and show you. But I could tell this could have used a bit more, and this is exactly how I re-ink. I go back and forth, and I'm using the tip to kind of rub that in there. Now I would say this ink pad, can you see how it's dripping down, immediately going down into there? So I think that's pretty well inked up now. And that's all you need to do. You don't want to, like you said, over ink them. You can get entirely too much. So, well, which technique do you like best? They're totally different. And I will tell you that this baby wipe has these ridges in it, which is okay. It's okay. And how I could tell that this one was the baby wipe. Let me pull another one out. This one's okay to show you, but can you see on this stamp? You can see a bit of design. That's from the baby wipe. Yeah, and you notice this one is from the sponge daubers, so it doesn't have any of that texture left from the baby wipe. It's totally okay. I actually kind of look at that, but just so you know, Cottonelle has little ruffly design in it. So there we go. All righty, let's hop right back up here. I do have oh, you know what? I do have one other quick thing to show you. I don't talk about paper pumpkin all the time because I know not everybody is into it, but I'm just saying this is the time of the year that if you're the least bit interested, do it now, because the kits are just, they're seasonal and they're so beautiful. But let me hop back down here for just a second. This is the paper pumpkin. This is what it looks like. And of course, like the other kits, you get directions and everything you need, all the way to the ink that you need. They send ink spots, and it's Orchid Oasis this time, which was gorgeous. Your stamp set, you get glue dots, you even get tear and tape. But this is what it looks like when you made them. I loved these boxes so much that I did not even bother to do an alternative with them, which there are a lot of alternatives, but here are the 3 boxes side by side. How cute is that? And on the inside, I stamped a little spider in there. I could have stamped a web too, but didn't. These adorable black stars, they come in the kit, self-adhesive. I love this. Enjoy this spooky treat. And look, I just love it. Both ends have the little tab part there, so you can do from either side. And then this one, and this is what you could put hand sanitizers. Speaking of hand sanitizers, today Bed Bath & Beyond have the little pocket size for $1. So go grab some, because I'm headed there as soon as we're done here. But this one is trick or treat. Everything, cutouts, everything, more stars, bats I stamped on there. But look on the inside of this one. It's kind of heavy. Here, let me set it down. Look at that. 9 candy kisses fit perfectly. And my candy kisses have teeth and eyes and bats and everything on them. They're so cute. They are Halloweeny. I couldn't find the orange ones, so I went with those. But isn't that sweet? Um, so with this, the reason I went ahead, I'm going to show you what it looks like with the spiderweb one, because it's open on the top. I love that. Candy bars will fit in there. I know Reese's cups will fit in there. Nuggets, so on and so forth, will all fit right in there. Okay, let me flip back up. So I just thought these were absolutely adorable. And I am doing called a vendor fair for a organization that I belong to called PEO. And it's a wonderful women's organization. And we're doing a vendor fair on October the 15th here in Chesapeake, Virginia. So, and it's at Town Hall Bank on Mount Pleasant. If anybody local would love to come, starts at 10 a.m. till 4. And there will be 10 vendors there. And there will be more information about PEO and all of that. But I'm going to use these. These will also, I will have pre-made products like this for sale. And because it's so, it's 2 weeks before Halloween, I'm going to have a lot of Halloween and fall items. So with that being said, that's 3 weeks from this Saturday. And I really need to get busy making more things. So I don't think I'm going to have enough time to come on and do a Facebook Live with different things the way I have been doing. What I hope to be able to do is come on for just a few minutes the next few Thursday mornings, the next 3, I believe it is, and show you a thing or two that I have made. I probably won't be stamping, but I can answer some questions. I have it set up so that I can see your questions. I just don't really like to take the time to read through, but if I see something that just jumps at me, like Joe's, I just couldn't understand that. But then she said, to match my nails. Then I understood what she was talking about. So I won't be doing the regular Facebook Live, but I will do my very best to come on every Thursday morning at 10 to show you a thing or two that I've made for the fair. So I hope that's good. And then when I come back after the fair, actually after the fair is on the 15th of the month. The 17th, on Monday, John and I are headed out of town. So that Thursday, I think, might be the maybe the 20th, 21st, something like that of October. I will not be here. We are going down to West Palm Beach, Florida, and then we're doing Everglades, and then going down to Key West for a few days. But I will be back in time for the following one. And then when I come back from that little vacation, all rested and relaxed, then I will start with Christmas. And we'll just do Christmas right up until probably the first week of December. And then after that, we'll start focusing on something else, okay? So I know that's a lot of information. Just keep checking. Hopefully I can be here every Thursday morning, even if it's just for 10 minutes to show you what I'm making for my craft fair. And I haven't done a craft fair, and I know it's called a vendor's fair, not so much a craft fair, but in a very, very long time. So I've got a lot to do to get ready for this. So, all right, guys, I'm going to let you go now, and just checking on the time here. And I am so happy that everybody joined me. If you have more questions, please let me know. I will most definitely answer them offline if at all possible. Yes, all of the fall cards that I make, they're all going to be for sale, except what I make to send out to my grandkids. But yeah, I have a collection of birthday. I don't have much Christmas, so I might work a little bit on Christmas, but I'm going to be doing some notebooks. Here, I've got a list here of some of the things, but if you can think of other things that I could do, let me know. But gift card holders, I'm going to be making some of those. I'm going to do some candles. I'm going to make some notebooks. I'm going to make some of the little, remember the Santa-tizer little box that I did that holds your hand sanitizer and it's made like a Santa suit. I'm going to make some of those so I have a little bit of Christmas in there. Um, I'm going to make some card sets. I don't know. There's just a ton of things that we can do, but I need to focus each week on every few days on making tons of stuff. So you never know how good it's going to be. So until next Thursday, I will pop in for sure. But you guys have a wonderful week. Do something fun for yourself and happy stamping. Bye bye.